So by now, it's pretty much all but confirmed that Avengers 4 is going to involve time travel somehow. This first started when we saw leaked photos of Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, and Ant-Man in what looked like the original Avengers movie in the Battle of New York. And not to mention that Tony Stark looks a little bit older in the leaked photos. Captain America is wearing his OG uniform from the first Avengers movie, and they all have these little devices on their hands. And now that Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, we know that there is a time vortex inside the quantum realm. Don't worry, that does not give any spoilers away for Ant-Man and the Wasp, so calm down. Not to mention Kevin Feige said that there would be time jumping in Avengers 4, so we know. There's been a lot of talk around going back in time in Avengers 4 and what all could happen, and most of it is regarding the Infinity Stones or forging an Infinity Gauntlet or warning the past Avengers what's going to happen in the future. And that's all very exciting and very important, but I think we're overlooking a key element here, and that is Loki. We have seen this leaked photo that shows a younger Loki in handcuffs. Now, this is obviously back in time. It's around the ending events of the first Avengers movie where Thor is about to take Loki back to Asgard. But what's interesting is these photos show a scene that we didn't see in the first Avengers movie. This shows 4 shield bodyguards surrounding Loki, which we never saw in the movie. The only thing we saw was Thor taking him back to Asgard. And it's highly believed that Tony Stark is actually in disguise as one of those bodyguards. So this appears to be a new scene which would take place in Avengers 4. And to me, what would make the most sense for the Avengers going back in time would be for them to try and convince Loki to betray Thanos early on. And I can picture it all in my head pretty clearly. They grab Loki right before Thor takes him back to Asgard, and they explain the situation. They explain all of the events that just took place in Infinity War. They explain that Thanos actually gets all of the Infinity Stones. He succeeds, and half of the universe gets wiped away from existence. And, not to mention, Loki dies. And he doesn't die from the snap. Thanos actually kills him. So they're going to present this to Loki because right now Loki works for Thanos. He may have just failed and been caught, but he still works for Thanos. So it would make sense for them to try and convince him to betray Thanos and then let him go so he can make some sort of attempt to try and stop Thanos before he gets all of the Infinity Stones. A strategy that could very well work, but here's the problem. This is younger Loki. His mind and his heart are still the same as they were when he was the villain. Remember, after the first Avengers movie came Thor 2, The Dark World, in which he faked his own death so he could take over the throne, which he did. He put Odin under a spell, cast him off into Earth somewhere, and took over Asgard pretending to be Odin. So this is still a very mischievous and evil Loki. So there's no real way of knowing if Loki will actually help them or not. The thought of his own death might be enough to make him turn, but who knows? This is Loki, the god of mischief. And again, it's in the past, so it's a younger Loki. So I'm sure his brain is thinking of ways that he can somehow betray the Avengers and use this knowledge to his advantage to gain favor with Thanos. Because if they tell Loki that Thanos kills him because he fails Thanos and then tries to betray him, then Loki could just not betray Thanos, and if the Avengers let him go back to Thanos, he could tell Thanos everything that he was just told. And this would probably make up for his failure in New York. And at this point in time, Loki probably wants to be on the good side of Thanos more than he does his brother and the Avengers. After all, he did just try to take over the Earth and kill all of the Avengers. And not to mention that in one of the plot leaks that we received, it says that at some point in time, when the Avengers are going back in time and trying to do their own thing and collect their own Infinity Stones, Thanos finds out somehow. How do you think he finds out? To me, this lines up perfectly and makes perfect sense. So, if Loki is put in this situation, and again, it's the past, younger Loki, not the current one that everybody loves, what do you think he'll do? I want to know your thoughts, opinions, theories, and keep in mind that we're dealing with the past, young Loki. Let me know in the comments below, and of course be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with everything related to Avengers 4, Marvel, DC, and everything superhero. Thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.